are probably aware, Dragonflight Alpha launched yesterday, along with a bunch of interviews that got some people very excited. I had to tweet out that ridiculous comment that Mr. Crusher sent me, which is just quite literally the most horribly formatted Discord conversation I've ever seen. Oh, you're here, Crusher. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. That's amazing. Who the hell sends a message like this? Who in the fuck types like this? You made your own Twitch chat. Like, I could assign different names so that I would time all of these messages out. Right? This looks like a Twitch chat of about 30 people all trying to fucking say something. Listen, oh, like that Dave Brain. Fuck off, stop. This is the most horribly formatted Discord message of all time. It was so bad. Master Loot is not back, as I got correct. I posted this on Twitter. And immediately was corrected that it's not back. Group Loot is back. Not back. It's Group Loot. Yes, it's Group Loot. It's not Master Loot that is back. Yeah. Are all people from Denmark Danish or what? Fully. That's what we're going to mix in there. Group Loot means Master Loot. It says no restrictions. I did see Ian say there'll be no... oh, we should clear something up. I do not have Dragonflight Alpha. Big surprise. Big surprise. I do not have Dragonflight Alpha. And I will say this. As much as I was expecting not to get Dragonflight Alpha, as much as I had been warned by somebody at Blizzard that when I made my video that I was not going to cover World of Warcraft on a regular basis anymore, that they were pissed at me. And a bit salty about that. I still am actually pissed off, and I can't help that feeling. I'm actually a little pissed off, and I didn't think I would be. But when I didn't get it, I was like, you know what? Fuck you, man. Fuck you, man. I can't help it. I can't help it. I'm fucking pissed off. I'm out of the club. Yeah, fucking, I'm a little pissed off. I have no right to be pissed off at all, but I am. I thought of all the people, I was thinking of all the people you probably want to try and bring back into WoW. You'd think I'd be kind of one of them, but no. So I'm gonna let my ego ride there, because I was like, fuck you, fuck you, really? But there it is. You can see that there is no alpha. It's gone. You left us. I mean, apparently I'm the arsehole now. I have to accept that. I guess I have to accept it. Like I say, I have no right to be pissed off, but I am. Always were. Always were. Always were. Always were. Yeah, I suppose. Am I the arsehole? Pulled the ripcord on you? Yeah. Yeah, I guess so, man. I'm at the cool people club. Oh, well. Again, was fully expecting it, but still a little fucking salty about it. Can't help that feeling. Little salty. But that doesn't change the fact that they did announce some really cool shit. Really cool shit. Which is great. It's good stuff. How dare you? How dare you? You weren't like in the Exodus? Yeah. You've been pruned? Oh no! I've been pruned! I have been pruned. That's it. I have been pruned. I mean, what right have... what? Oh, it does work both ways. I'm very clear. I have no entitlement to be part of the alpha or anything. I'm still pissed off about it. I'm still pissed off about it. Asmon's a good boy now. Well, thankfully, Asmon's never said anything bad about World of Warcraft, so that's good shit. All I need to do is average 65,000 viewers, and then maybe I'm in with a chance. I'm just not a big enough guy. You guys aren't putting in the fucking time. This is all on you guys, honestly. Honestly, I'm taking all my rage out on you guys. It's not Blizzard's fault. They're snowy angels. They're angels in the snow. It's actually you guys. You're not telling your friends. You're not getting people in here. It's just unfucking believable. It's unbelievable, right? Look what I've done. Look what I've done. And here we are. Here we are. Only positive feedback that protects. No, it's nothing to do with that. It was the hair transplant. Yeah, it was, man. It was. It was the hair transplant that took it down. We are. Blame the pawns who are not here. I know. Just say you'll play WoW and you'll get it. I did play WoW. I did. I continue to play. I'm just not spamming the YouTubes. Not enough. I can't do enough marketing. What is this? Why are you sending me this? What the fuck is this, Bex? Ducks in You're such an idiot. You are a born maniac. You are a born maniac. You're so ridiculously Welsh. It's unbelievable. You're so ridiculously Welsh. It's crazy. It is. I don't want to... are you going to try out Wrath? No. That's probably not helping, is it? Are you going to try out Wrath? No. No, I'm not. I alpha tested Wrath of the Lich King. I beta tested Wrath of the Lich King. I played Wrath of the Lich King every single day for its existence and completed every single thing in Wrath of the Lich King. I have nothing to play Wrath of the Lich King for. At all. No. So, that's why. Not because I dislike Wrath of the Lich King, but no. Mounts, don't care. Oh, the first raid. The Vault of the Incarnates. Maybe I'm not allowed at the Race to World First anymore, because I'm not an Alpha Andy. Am I not allowed to go? Maybe. Maybe I'm out now. That it? Maybe I'm out. Oh, cool. What's the raid? Alex! Hi, Alex! The Vault of the Incarnates. Down a bit. Vault of the Incarnates is the first raid coming up in Wild Dragonflight. So it's 8 bosses, with Razgaveth the Storm Eater as the final boss. While Big Raz is a brand new character introduced in Dragonflight, her motives are expanded upon in the Azure Span questline. Okay. Eranog. That's a really cool model. That's nice. Oh god, the mechanics are here? What? They already have a dungeon journal up for the brand new raid in the alpha? Wow. That's crazy. Usually that comes in much later. Yeah. That's pretty, that's intriguing. Get your add-ons made. That looks like one of them Zareth Mortis bros. And he has all the mechanics as well. Usually there's like bosses missing. Are there bosses missing? Okay, no model for the Primalist Council. Alright, but the mechanics are kind of there. Explodes for more damage the more stacks remaining when the shield expires. Fair enough. Mechanics are all here. This is bizarre. Set off the cold breath. Got a stacky frost resistance. Good shit. Any other model pictures? Dathia Ascended. Heroic and Mythic, the Raging Tempest wander around. Oh, they said they're going to make this raid easier. Did they? Did they? We'll have a look at that. Easier than Sepulchre, I assume is what you're saying. Because Sepulchre appears to have just bent people over, rubbed them in soap, and buttered their ass. Yeah, easier than Sepulchre. Don't overdo it, though. Jesus Christ, Blizzard. Don't Emerald Nightmare the motherfucker. Right? Just a little bit. Tender as the night, yeah? Tender as the night. Just ease it back. Just ease it back. Don't bring the sledgehammer to the fight. Don't do that. Broodkeep Daruna. Did we get a model for the last boss? Oh, we did. Oh, he's a dragon. Oh, he's a proper dragon end boss. Awesome. No more Rathian, please. We're finally getting a dragon. First boss falls over. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. Well, remember the hype around there being a dragon boss, and it was Rathian, and it was the first boss, and it just fucking fell over. You got your collector's edition? Oh, sick, dude. You're not allowed to give them feedback now, remember? I mean... I'm gonna. I'm not gonna. Volley Guards, where? What? Did I skip past it? Maybe? Oh, because you sent me the duck thing. Okay. Early look at Dragonflight raid trinkets and proc effects. The trinkets are in already? They're far along. Interesting. Lessons learned. Sepulchre was an arms race that we won't repeat in Dragonflight. Are they blaming gear? During an interview with the Hammer Time, Game director Ian commented on the team's design philosophy for Dragonflight and the lessons learned from Sepulchre of the first ones, referring to the difficulty of Sepulchre as an arms race between Echo and Liquid. Ian admitted defeat, acknowledging that the tier was too grueling and wasn't the best experience for the player base. Tally with a big raid.
Is there any kind of like maybe,
the big interview?
Maybe might be totally talk about it, but any kind of fight design philosophy going into Dragonflight as opposed to the previous expansions?
It probably won't be as punishingly difficult as Sepulchre.
What am I watching? Tally's not talking. Or is this a recorded? Oh, did they do the interview off stream? Ian. Remember when I requested that we do interviews off camera? And now you're doing that? Remember?
So some lessons learned there. There probably won't be, you know, abilities where failing to execute it on heroic wipes your entire raid. So we give up. We were
no one-shot
the team
mechanics.
was collectively in a bit of an arms race with, you know, Echo and Liquid, and all right, you know what? We give up. You guys win. We're not going to try to make encounters that are uniformly challenging at that level because it's not the best experience for the player base as a whole.
Cool. Oh god, if the next race wheel first is like 2 days though. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it was dumb. I mean, we're not getting. I mean, we said this at the time, right? We said this at the time, like during the race. We're not getting anything like Sepulchre again. At least not until we forget. You know, until history repeats itself. Until we can get to the point where we forget that Sepulchre happened, and then it'll come back. So it'd be like 10 years or something that Sepulchre will happen again. But until that point where we forget it happened, it's gonna be better. Not a 12-hour race. That would be kind of sad. That would be not good. God, there's so much spam. I do miss being part of the fiesta. I don't miss working until like 5 a.m. Which I'm sure Chris doesn't miss it either. Being like up till 5 a.m. scraping every fucking piece of information we can, pumping videos out. Although we had a good process during Shadowlands. It was like a 4-man operation. Inclusivity updates, body type, pronouns, and voice options discovered. Nice. Monk talent tree, speculation, paladin, data mined. God, there's so much shit coming out. Dragon Alpha group interview with Ian. Release date, Power Infusion. Oh, we talked about Power Infusion. Awesome. Stop skipping over the mounts. Just buy them and get on with it. Buy the cool ones. The in-game ones always suck. Just buy the cool ones and GG's. It's sorted. Look, it's so easy. It's so fucking easy. If it's in the game as a collectible, it's garbage. What you need to just buy them off the store and you get the awesome ones, right? They'll have new animations. They'll have new sound effects. They'll have all sorts of stuff. Fuck you. Don't talk smack about the otter. Oh, is there an otter mount? That sounds pretty good. So Wowhead did an interview as well. Oh, they did all the interviews off stream? Awesome. Good shit. Oh, they've only done the last couple of days, eh? We've seen the Drakthir and other talent trees a resurgence of party raid synergy skills. Oh, they've given raid buffs to the Drakthir, have they? For example, Mark of the Wild's returning, and the Drakthir bronze buff. And even Rogue has a party-wide cooldown reduction buff. What is the goal for party and raid synergy in Dragonflight? So I think this is definitely a space that we're interested in exploring, and not everything that is in these first iterations of talent trees necessarily going to make it to live, but we want to get the stuff out there to begin the conversation and feedback around what the individual trees end up being. I think for the space of party and raid buffs, at the end of the day, it's an MMO. We have tons of cooperative gameplay in all our modes, whether it's dungeon, raid, group PvP, and the ability to make choices that are augmenting the capabilities of the people around you is an interesting RPG space to explore. At the same time, we also want to be mindful that we want to dip our toes in the water without going too far to the extreme of 15 years ago in the Burning Crusade. Making a raid group as a raid leader was a matrix of 15 different buffs. Your rogues need Battle Shout from a warrior, but the warrior needs Wind Fury from the shaman because the rogues need Wind Fury and because Wind Fury is amazing. And all that interconnection. We know we can go too far, but I think we want to test our individual ideas, see what are most compelling, and also take a look at the sum total of it and make sure it's not too much in terms of that complexity space that's going to lead to micromanagement. But the general design space of I can make choices that make my buddy stronger in a cooperative game feels like a natural and that wants to explore. Yeah, I totally agree with this. I actually miss party setups quite a lot. There's something really fun about being with a really perfect group that like smacked you, that made your character like super good. But we also went too far, so like you needed a feral druid, and as we know, you know what I mean? That's when it becomes a problem, where you're like, we need these buffs are all so good that we need to like bring them in, and like they have to fit in, so you have a really static, you know, you have like 2 spots you can rotate out. So it'll be interesting to see how far they go with those buffs. I don't think in a mythic makeup, but you should see at least one of each class. But when you start breaking down into spec specific, very heavily spec specific powerful buffs, so it's not just like a druid bringing Mark of the Wild, it's feral bringing 5% crit or whatever it was. Because they eventually added it to warriors, because it was leader of the pack was just druids, I think. Or did it come from warriors always, but they had no crit? It came from Rampage or something. Not Rampage. Anybody remember? Was it a Bloodthirst crit? It was something dumb. Like, warriors could give the buff. Fury warriors, I think, could give the buff. But they just couldn't get it up, whereas all feral druids had to do was exist. Yeah, it was a talent in Wrath. Rampage in Wrath. Yeah. It was something weird, but they just didn't. They had to crit it or something, or they needed to. There was something weird where they couldn't keep it up, at least in the early game. But it was dog shit compared to druids. In terms of community feedback, one of the hot topics recently has been the return of the controversial ability Power Infusion. It's not controversial. It's not. Are there any changes planned to address some of the issues the community has with the ability, such as how it impacts class balance? I understand it's controversial. But at the same time, some of this gets back to the early discussion of party and raid buffs. And our philosophy where adding new ones, it's a cooperative MMO where the design space of I can make my comrades and allies feel stronger. It seems like a viable support type role that should exist in an RPG setting. Internally, it's interesting. The team has coined this problem. There are 2 games being played in a raid group. There is Game 1, which is the game that we built, which is beat the raid boss, clear the dungeon in the time limit. Then there's Game 2, which players have largely created for themselves, which is Smosh. Smork everything. Beat my performance from last week, get a purple pass, get a gold pass, whatever else. We don't create that game, but many people are playing that game. And it's almost the primary motivation for them. A question is, how sensitive should we be to that? How much should we be designing around that? Because yes, certainly, if we're making a game and the point of the game was to max your score, max this number, it would be problematic to introduce elements into the game that are very random or skew outcomes one way or another. Yeah, that would be terrible, wouldn't it? I think this is definitely where I know. Well, I mean, you guys have seen it in interviews where me and Ian do not agree. But there's also not the game we have made. We have created a cooperative game that presents these challenges to be overcome. And so something in that environment like Power Infusion is a really interesting decision in a range of raid settings. Maybe on farm, you sell it to the person with the best burst window. But when you're learning an encounter for the first time, it's more, what are the moments in the fight that are most challenging for us? Do we need to burst down this wave of ads before the next thing happens? And who should we PI? Should we PI a healer? Ew, no, never. The fuck? Gross. That's disgusting. Ooh. Oh, that is disgusting. That's disgusting. Oh my god. Oh, hell no. Because we need throughput burst to make it through this thing. DPS isn't an issue. Excuse me? DPS is always an issue. We're just trying to survive, but we don't want to add a healer. It's those sort of decisions that are interesting group dynamics, but we'd hate to take that away. In game 2, so to speak, the nerds game, the Smorkers, is also one where the rules in other places are shaped by the community. Like, everyone at this point thinks nothing of the fact that log sites completely ignore padding. I mean, they do, right? I think, am I not wrong here? The log sites have gone to more extensive ways of trying to eliminate padding. Although you can still absolutely pad damage. There's no way of getting around it, but, like, you can... They're doing their best to get rid of it. I think he's more referring to people like bringing Was it Vikland who did this? Or one of the Warlocks? It might have been THD, that guilty ass motherfucker. Who brought like a ton of priests and just chained PI onto himself. So he could just have PI permanently. Something like that, right? He brought us... I saw somebody who got a load of viewers to come that were all priests and just chained PI. The rank 1 priest did that too. Yeah. Well, that's all in good fun. You can max your number by just damaging a bunch of extraneous ads in a fight that don't really serve the interest of the group. And doing that will... I mean, I'm guilty of doing this. I have rank 1 multiple times on my DK for just an occasional howling blast on ads that don't need to die. Only the procs, though. And doing that will make you have the biggest number and win. And the community has collectively decided that this is unhealthy. I'm personally being attacked. Wow, rude. We're not going to count or reward that behavior. Just because you're multi-dotting all these ads that will die on their own, we're not going to count this damage at all. And that shapes player behavior there. But my number's higher than yours. Oh, you think you're so fucking pure, Ian? You think what are you? What are you? You fucking praying to Jesus each night because you're not padding a little bit of damage onto the ads? Fuck you, man. No way, dude. Look, don't look at me like I'm the sinner. These ads are there, alright? They need to die at some point. I'm just helping them along. I'm helping them go home, essentially. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, you can't come here acting like the sweet angel. To some extent, we want to focus on designing for the so-called Game 1 and making about that player experience, and leave the community and log sites and others to figure out the rules. Yeah, you guys do what you want. Who's the best mage on this fight, etc. I'm fine with this. It's the gear RNG I hate. That's where I come to loggerheads. I hate that my character can swing wildly in damage. I hate that. Like, PI, whatever. I never get PI, so I don't even consider it. I was never on the list for PI. Apparently Ross needs PI, because the way his class works allows his combustion to reset for the perfect timings. If he gets PI now, then that means he has combustion every time Sludge Fist hits the wall. So Ross needs PI, right? Whatever. It didn't work out for me. Whatever, right? So it's, yeah, fucking Ross again, just sniping. Biggest scam I ever pulled. Ross has to have PI. Oh, the unholy DK benefits more, so the unholy DK gets PI. And then you're giving PI to idiots like Mickle who can't find their own fucking... That guy couldn't get a date on a tombstone. And you're giving this guy fucking PI? What a clown fiesta. I swear to God, Fat Boss Alex, what a fucking idiot. What a fucking idiot. It makes me sad. It makes me sad. I smell the salt, it's fine. It's more like the trinkets and stuff that wildly skew your damage. I hate that. The testing time frame. Oh, interesting. You're targeting the Dragonflight release for the end of 2022. How comfortable are you feeling at the target window right now? I think we're feeling comfy. We wouldn't have announced that if it wasn't the case, especially after the delay of Shadowlands a couple of years ago. I've definitely heard and seen concerns in the community. Oh, it's too soon. Is it going to be rough? I understand. It's only looking alpha and beta timelines, how that might seem to be the case. But I think if you take a step back and think, is 2 years after the last expansion too soon for the next? Well, no, that's in line with historic old precedents. I think certainly our players are ready to move on by later this year from Shadowlands. Yeah, I think some of your players are ready to move on. I agree. Yeah, I think so. Dragonflight has been in development since before Shadowlands shipped, and has had the full development cycle that any WoW expansion had in the past. A difference this time around is that we have consciously decided to have a more focused public test period. Whereas in the past, I think we start our alpha with the game in less of a state of readiness, and then slowly trickle content online over the course of multiple months. I forget the exact date, but for Shadowlands, it was like mid-April when alpha started. It wasn't until something like in the middle of June where we were leveling the last zone was available. I can't remember, but that seems accurate. BFA was again a 3-month gap between alpha launching and Stormsong being available for testing. This time around, all our zones are ready for testing, and we're going to be rolling them out over the course of successive alpha builds in the coming weeks, in rapid succession with focused feedback. After this week, our plan is to shut down the Azure span and point people at the next thing. Oh, I tell you what I don't miss. Leveling all the characters over and over again. I don't miss that. And then we'll shut that down and point people at the next thing. We've got a focused experience that concentrates feedback that's better and more accurate testing experience for people when playing the alpha. Where the zone is actually full of other players because that's what everyone's attention is currently focused. And so we're going to have a lot of excitement over the next month and a half as we roll out our zones. The rest of the talent trees, dungeons. It's a bit more like Legion then, because Legion was a bit like that. That's cool. Just use a potion or 20. You know what? What is wrong with you, right? Will you forget some things that happen, right? Can you just forget some things that happen? That's all you've got to do is just occasionally just move on. Stop living in the past and move on with yourself, right? We're looking to the future now. That's what we're doing. We're looking to the future, okay? We're moving forward as a team. There's a guy change of pace, so he felt like in the past. What was the thought process in making that change? Why did you feel like you needed to change that way when you went into alpha and beta? The way we develop the game hasn't changed meaningfully in terms of our testing. I think we're often asking ourselves, what are we getting out of it? Like, in terms of how we're getting the feedback, at the end of the day, in an ideal world, we wouldn't test this at all. That would be interesting. I would certainly kind of enjoy seeing that happen. I'd love to get to that place one day. Frankly, I'd love to get to the place where it's like, hey, the expansion is coming out. I can't wait for everyone to play and experience the story and see what it has to offer. But, given the complexity and multiplayer scale of a lot of our systems and content, we're not yet at a point where we feel confident to bring a quality experience without at least throwing a few thousand testers alongside each other. We want to avoid, to some extent, overexposure. I think they're also in a pickle marketing-wise, right? The alpha is the most exciting thing that happens for World of Warcraft. Like, it's up there with the actual release of the game. It really is. It really is. Like, the alpha launch and people getting to see everything for the first time, it does take away from the release. 100%. 100%. But in terms of the marketing side of things, it's really good. It's a huge push to the game that you get long before the game comes out, right? You get everybody talking about the new game for months. You can trickle out content. It's so much marketing that comes out through the alpha and beta cycle. It's actually crazy. It definitely you lose something at the release end, although that's still really high. But you have this months-long marketing machine that just pumps out content and excitement for the whole community for literal months before. And I imagine pre-sales have shot up. I would be really curious to see what the pre-sales look like before the alpha launches and like today, after the alphas come out and people have seen dragon riding, people have seen Drakthir doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and what it goes on. Same thing with 2 release trailers. Yeah, but it won't be as big as what WoW does. Final Fantasy 14 will not be as big as what WoW does with its cycle. So I'm sure that's part of it. I'm not saying it's 100% the focus, because nothing's ever the 100% the focus, but it's a huge marketing machine. We also want to focus the feedback that we get. Rather than having an alpha test that's out there sparsely populated, sparsely attended. Over the course of the alpha, we'll have weeks and weekends where this zone is the focus, this dungeon is the focus. We think that we can get more feedback, offer better experience for our tested, and have more structure in terms of what they're asked to do and new stuff to check out. On the FF side, FF is totally different. Like, it's a really big learning curve for me was when Endwalker launched, the Twitch side of FF was fucking dead. So I'm used to WoW launches where the Twitch side of WoW, when a new expansion comes out or an alpha comes out, is like exploding, right? It's like, oh my god, like Legion and BFA were ahead of League of Legends. Like World of Warcraft had like 400,000 viewers collectively. World of Warcraft is blowing up. Endwalker came out and fucking Final Fantasy went because nobody who enjoys Final Fantasy wants to watch a streamer at all. At all. There'll be some percentage of people, but like it's astronomically small. Nobody wants to watch their streamers. Nobody wants to see anybody do the story. They couldn't give a fuck. They will come back in a few weeks and then the numbers will explode. So they have this weird period, right? It's like decent numbers, the expansion comes, nosedives into the fucking ground, and then like 2 weeks later, it goes up to like stupid numbers again. But like that's how it works. So it's a very different game. It's a totally different game. Like side-by-siding them, nobody gives a shit about WoW spoilers. Like there'll be some guy with his book collection, like getting really stressed out because the streamer's not reading all the text in the quest log or whatever. But in general, no one gives a shit. They want to see how cool it is to press the new spell, what the animation looks like. Does it fucking pwn faces? Right? That's what they want to see. Can I jump off this fucking cliff and fly across the entire world on my new Dragon Man? Right? How does the double jump work? What does the healing look like? What's the UI changes? That's what people give a shit about. Will you be announcing different areas progressively throughout the alpha? Will there be a release schedule that people can see? So what we're saying, it's still an alpha process. Where's the group loot stuff? Okay, so they got to release stuff in segments. All right, that's fine. Where's the loot stuff? Shaman, no one cares. No one plays Shaman. Mage, no one plays mages. Only dipshits play mages, like me for years. Evoker talent tree. I might come back to the dragon riding thing. Okay, here we go. Krendor had an interview. He didn't talk about fishing for like an hour, did he? He didn't talk about fishing, did he? Right. Clickbait. This is clickbait. This is from Classic. This is a classic WoW picture. That's Molten Core's floor. I've inspected this floor many, many times. Many, many times. I have a thorough inspection of this floor. I know what it's like. During a group interview with Wowhead, Ian stated that the group loot would be an option for raid groups in WoW Dragonflight. Acknowledging that there are still details to work on, he made clear that group loot is not master loot. Imagine being Crusher right now. What a dick. What an absolute fucking penis. In which drops are directly controlled and assigned by one person. But fulfills the general desire of a shared pool of drops not awarded based on group composition the way personal loot is. That players can freely trade among each other. No trade restrictions. That's fine. It's Master Loot using our add-on, Ander, is what it is. It's Master Loot using the Master Looter add-on that we all made because Master Looter wasn't in the game. It's effectively Master Looter. This is a nice compromise. Blizzard knows what they're doing here. They're being very clever about this. They're like, look, we're not putting Master Looter back in because people get very upset and scared by that because the boogeyman's going to come and take my boots. But I mean, for anybody with half a fucking clue, as long as you can eat food without stabbing yourself in the face with a fork, it's Master Looter. So we'll call a compromise on that, Crusher. We'll call a compromise. All right. Moving on. Okay. Image of straight control and assigned by one person. But fulfills the general desire of a shared pool of drops. Okay. Additionally, this form of group loot will only be available in raid content. So we're getting everything we asked for. Okay. Only took 4 years of bitching, but we got there. We got there. We got there. Only took 4 years of bitching, but we got there. As developers do not believe that there's a significant desire for that type of loot in small party content where the chances of getting unusable items, like a bow when you have a hunter, is disproportionately higher. That's fair. I think that's fucking fair. I think that's totally fair. Like, yeah, no issues with that. No issues with that. That's fine. In a previous interview, you mentioned that Master Loot was something you wanted to do, but was looking for the right implementation. What kind of was the change from no previously? Okay. Yeah. I think I would describe it more as a group loot rather than Master Loot. That's the specific process of a single loot master allocating the drops. That's actually in some ways some of the stuff we're looking to move away from back in the day. But moving away from personal to a shared looter pool. Okay. God, you're a good lawyer, Ian. God, you're a good lawyer. Because now, I mean, this is great. This is pure lawyer Ian at work. This is genius. Because everybody will be going like, oh, but Master Looter's back. Well, no, it's not. We never put Master Looter back. We have group loot now. So, there you go. Didn't put it back. Even though, I mean, it's there. But it's totally doable. But it's fine. Where you kill a raid boss. Can't be wrong. Yeah, this is a good lawyer's answer. This is good. This is what he's paid to do. This is why he does all these interviews. You work together with 15 or 20 or 30 people to do it. There's 5 items on the corpse, and you can roll for those items. Yeah, we're all going to roll. Right, guys? We're going to come together in one collaborative unit, and we're going to see that trinket that's fucking 10 times better for Warlocks than it is for Shadow Priests. And we're all going to hold hands, sing Kumbaya. We're going to get the whole thing going. And we're going to and I roll 10, and I roll 20, and I roll 6. And I'm the priest who does need it, and I roll 99. So that definitely means I get it. Right, raid leader, because this is group loot, not master loot. La 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 la. That's what's going to happen. Oh, it's going to be so good. We're going to get marshmallows, the whole fucking thing. Yeah, yeah, it's going to be fine, man. Yeah, you can pass. Okay, let's go back to this. There's 5 items on the corp, and you can roll for those items. You can pass on them. You can trade them to your friends. Sounds very mature. Sounds fun. I look forward to trying this out. I wonder what this experience will be like. We're still hammering out the details, but our current plan is to have raid bosses in Dragonflight work that way. This is a raid boss. You know what this is going to cause, though? Somebody's going to get dicked on the roll and not trade or whatever, and they're going to be like, I want personal loot back. That's going to happen, like, immediately. There's got to be a real fucking cringe fest. Dungeon loot is fine. We haven't really heard people clamoring for the return. Oh, Ninja Ring's going to return. Oh, I can't wait. This is the kind of shit I want in my MMO. As infuriating as it is, it's really funny. Oh, you need a bit of drama. It's an ecosystem. It's a community. We can't all be living in an unshaven armpit world where we're all eating fucking mushrooms out of the ground and living in houses covered in soil. Like, there has to be a little spice. Needs a little fire and pepper. Otherwise, there's no community. Names matter. We need that. We haven't really heard people clamoring for the return of group loot in dungeons. Okay. While this is great news for many, this will create a potentially awkward situation where groups need to weigh the benefits of freely tradable group against potentially getting items they can't use, as opposed to smart personal loot, always assigning usable items. Oh, yeah. That's what it was. Smart. That's what it was. Or may not be tradable to the person who actually needs them. That's what I would describe it as. Smart. This contrast echoes previous comments in which the game director stated that bringing back Master Loot was a long-term goal, but warned against the possibility of combining smart loot with group loot, implying that it would become too easy to engineer situations in which class stacks group could funnel. Ian and Asmongold said. But it's not that the team is necessarily ideologically opposed to that, it's just that there is a lot of tech problems in the dissonance. I think it was on Taurus whenever this happened. It just caused problems. Yeah, we had our tools, our code, every assumption we made in how we build loot tables from 2018 onwards has gone in one direction. And now we need to just turn back around. There's a lot of questions to figure out also. We should also bear in mind that going back to group loot means you could have a bow drop with no hunters in the raid. Then your raid comp is dog shit. Right? Why would you not take... I mean, okay, so you're bringing... Yeah, it's Roger Brown. Well, I mean, he should be on the bench. He's old, tired, he kicks chairs, he's Greek. Yeah, I understand. I understand. And sometimes that's the thing that will happen, and that feels bad. But that's kind of okay. It has to be. The thing we can't have happen is a world where loot is still smart, and if you stack a group with like 6 warriors, you're only getting warrior loot, and it's completely tradable with no restrictions. That just kind of breaks everything. Well... What does this do for splits? Any splitters? They're still going to go for it, though, right? Roger is switching to tank next raid. I do know that, actually. Well, maybe. I don't think Robin's committed yet to... I think the situation is Robin hasn't decided yet whether he wants to be commit to tanking, that's all. So it will be Roger tanking. You can't have a tank who's with a guy whose brain is boomer and goes that slow, you know what I mean? Even more splits. Just have Mirez multi-boxing? I mean, maybe. Maybe. Yeah, I don't think it has that much of an effect because you can't funnel as hard. Like, it's not gonna be. It's gonna change that around. Not that like the splits matter for everybody else besides like 50 people in the world. So we need to just figure out a middle ground going forward. That's something we wanted to do. The split situation had come back. That's all good stuff though. So effectively, Master Looter is back. Good shit. We can be adults again about who gets what because we're adults and not babies. In general, you know, and we kind of like it when our friends are getting powerful, unless they're dog shit raid loggers, in which case they shouldn't be in the raid in the first place, which is great. I only have a healed in WoW. Which DPS class should I roll going into Dragonflight? I do not have the alpha because I'm a fucking poor, unfortunately. So I don't know. I actually don't know. I'm too poor to play the alpha, unfortunately. I was just catching up with the news. Are we talking about WoW players? WoW players in a grown-up scenario. Like I say, I've had things ninja, but compared to the usual stuff, not a big deal. German advertiser. Okay, is this before stuff came out? Okay. Yeah. Look at the evoker tree. Can do, but I won't have any context for it. Sorry, dudes. I did want to look at the dragon riding one, because someone sent it's a straight copy of Guild War 2. Not that that's a problem, and they have put some races and stuff in. As of the moment of writing this post, I've quested through the Azure Span, the one zone available in Dragonflight Alpha twice, so I've had some time to get myself familiar with dragon riding. At first, I did feel like the system was a bit hard to get used to, but that could be because the Azure Span is the third Dragonflight leveling zone. You're supposed to arrive there already familiar with the system and presumably gone through some introductory quests. Even though with these limitations, however, I was able to quickly grasp the system. The Azure Span has been described by Blizzard as one of the largest WoW zones to date. And even with having access to a flying mount, the zone still felt large. Many quests in the storyline involve going around. It's really fun to be able to quickly fly there and continue on foot. The races are also incredibly fun and surprising. How are they tying the Shadowlands to this? Are they just going to skip the Shadowlands over? And that was the thing we did that one time and moving on. Anybody watch the alpha? Are they just like, are we just glossing over that? It was a dream. It just ignored. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's probably the best decision as well. It'd be nice if they could tie the story in somehow. But I mean, it's probably for the best that we just move on. And we did that thing. The death is fixed again. We can just move on. There's no introductory quest yet. Yeah, I get that. This is the third zone. I'm curious how they're going to do it. But I feel like they're going to gloss over it a little bit and just be like, and we fixed death. The machine's working again. We did that repair. And now we can just get on with our day. Okay, at first the system was hard to get used to. I think people, if who's writing this? Do we know who they are? Oh, Narissa. So Narissa's a seasoned player. I wonder if some people are really going to struggle with the dragon riding. And maybe get a little frustrated with it. It's going to grasp the system. The span has been described as one of the largest zones. The races are also incredibly fun and surprisingly difficult to learn to earn gold times. Oh, you know what? I've just never been happier to not have the alpha than reading that sentence. I did not need to be listening to you lot. Act like a bunch of jerk-offs when I keep getting silver. Bronze noob. Yeah. I can already see Chris making emotes. Overall, I would say normal flying is still superior because you have full control of your mount and are not dependent on constantly earning momentum to stay airborne. But it's a decent replacement until normal flying is unlocked to Dragon. If that happens, that is. Oh, okay. So you have to do some swoopage. You learn dragon riding mounts as you level through the Dragon Isles, one mount per zone. Currently, you can only use dragon riding mounts in the Dragon Isles. This does not work outside of the continent. In the Dragon Isles, dragon riding mounts function as normal ground mounts and will start flying with double spacebar press or when falling off cliffs. While in the air, dragon riding mounts are constantly moving. You cannot stand still and AFK in the air. You need to create and keep momentum to keep the mount going. Momentum-wise, you gain momentum when flying down at an angle and lose momentum when you fly up. An easy way of creating and maintaining momentum, not forever though, is to quickly descend to create momentum and then swoopers to gain altitude with the burst of momentum created. Once your dragon riding mount runs out of momentum and can no longer keep a consistent flying speed, it will start falling out the sky. You do not take fall damage by having your mount lose momentum and land this way. Yeah, much more realistic. So, more glidey. As stated above, is it not a flapper? Does it not have any flappage? As stated above, staying in the air with Dragon Riding requires momentum. You're able to use and create momentum by using abilities that you'll learn through the Dragonflight leveling experience. Before we list these abilities, I wonder over time do you just learn that he can flap and do his shit? Some basics then. Dragon Riding uses Vigor as a resource on the current alpha build. All mounts have 3 Vigor. While grounded, you gain 1 Vigor every 30 seconds. You do not need to be mounted to generate Vigor. You do not gain Vigor while flying at normal speeds, however. If you start flying at higher speeds via abilities or even just flying downwards, you will gain Thrill of the Skies, generating Vigor. Okay. Once you're mounted on your mounts, your main action bar will be swapped for a special ability bar containing your dragon riding abilities. Your Vigor resource bar will also show up when mounted, showing how much Vigor you currently have, the 3 jewels, and the bar displaying how long you have left to gain a Vigor point. But that said, there are currently 3 known dragon riding abilities. Surge, so you can flap the short distance, as little flappers, flap up, gain some height, and spiral. Okay. Oh, here's the races. Cool. Make huge. Go. Oh, it doesn't have new sound effects yet? That was a miss. Oh, it tells you where to go. There's a little line. Okay. I wonder if there's no line in, like, the mythic version. I would ace this. Yeah. I would probably just do this first time. The start looks really rough, but the ending was kind of simple. Interesting. Oh yeah, I'd piss that. Yeah, I would piss that. I'd piss that. Like, no problem. Yeah, 100%. So you customize his little face. It's the same thing from before. You would fuck up the first one. I mean, I think we're all allowed to do that, right? It only takes a minute. How hard can it be? Looks at Cuphead Expert that we did last week. Looks at Cuphead Expert last week. A minute's a long time. At least I told my wife that, but she doesn't believe me. She doesn't know. It's all about context, right? It's all about context. It really is. It's just all about context. She believed me. All right. The Bellular vids may be more informative. Well, I'm seeing Bell soon. Bell's going to be here for PreachCon. So maybe we could do some sit down and chat with Bell about it, like live in person. Although he is Irish. So we'll have to bear that into account. We'll probably have to get a different microphone or some sort of translator in. It'll be alright. It'll be alright. Speak Irish back to him. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, I'm classy. You know what I mean? I'm classy. I'm classy. Anything other major? The 500 mounts achievement reward to be changed in a future alpha build. Blizzard agrees with you. We'll be changing the reward for the 500 mount achievement. Is this what you're trying to get me to look at, Crusher? Bad Yeti. Was the 500 mount reward just a recolored Yeti? Worth.